Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we will be taking a look at the latest addition to the Disney Parks Droid Factory lineup, TC-14 from The Phantom Menace. So as many of you know, this year marks the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, which is absolutely crazy to think about. But what's even more mind-boggling is this is the only figure that's been announced for the Heritage scale, and that is such a bummer. Hasbro has really disappointed me when it comes to this anniversary, and thankfully, Disney Parks came through and gave us this figure. And it's one that we've seen in the past, but it does look to be a pretty nice upgrade. But with all that being said, let's take a closer look at the packaging and figure. Taking a look at the carded figure, we have our standard packaging for all of these Droid Factory releases. We have the Star Wars logo prominently displayed on top of what seems to be a hollow image of a couple of droids, and I think that looks pretty good in my opinion. We have TC-14 on a gray name pill color, and then a raceway that has a nice image of the character from the movie with the Droid Factory logo down below. And then we have a figure on a bubble, which just ties everything together. On the back, we have the Droid Factory logo again with a small description of the character, followed by a schematic image showing the different specs of this protocol droid TC-14. So typically, I don't keep these Droid Factory releases carded. I'm not the biggest fan of this packaging, and it's just not quite as good as vintage collection card backs, but this one came in pretty good condition, and it's kind of speaking to me for the 25th anniversary, so I might keep this one carded for the moment. Taking a look at the figure out of the packaging and compared to the previous version from the 30th anniversary collection, you can see that there are some noticeable differences in terms of these two figures. I will say that this one is a nice upgrade. It looks much more like the protocol droid that we saw in the movie, and the only thing it's really lacking is the vac metal treatment. Yes, many of us are big fans of vac metal, and they say that it's a little bit challenging to do on articulated figures, but I will say that the paint applications they added to TC-14 here are actually quite nice and almost as good as the recent vintage collection Jango Fett. They just have a very nice richness to them, and it looks like a very nice silver, in my opinion. The trays themselves are very identical. I can't tell much difference there other than the paint applications. And then the thermos attachment is actually different. The new one is a little bit more slender and for the most part looks about the same. They both unscrew just like before. And yeah, this is going to be a huge upgrade to our Phantom Menace shelves, especially because this figure is fully articulated. The previous version from the 30th anniversary collection doesn't have knees, doesn't have elbows, and to be honest, the only thing it's got going for it is the vac metal treatment. Taking a look at TC-14 compared to some of the previous Droid Factory releases, you can see there's some similarities, but also a couple of differences. Taking a look at One Jack on the left, he is the worst protocol droid that we've seen from Disney Parks. He is just way too small and yeah, absolutely looks awful. I really wish they would have used the standard protocol base mold for him, and yeah, he's really lacking a lot in my opinion. And then we have this 4-LOM, which is still to date the best 3 3/4 4-LOM that you can get. This one is nearly identical to TC-14, other than they have different heads, and Disney went ahead and made new legs on the lower part for this figure, so a little bit different there, but that's why this one has a lot of quality in my opinion, because this figure over here was absolutely great. Protocol droids like TC-14 from the Phantom Menace are certainly not known for their agility or speed, but rather their service skills and extensive data banks. This figure utilizes the Build-A-Droid mold that many 375 fans are familiar with in terms of articulation. Loaded with 14 points of articulation to be exact, TC-14 has a swivel at the neck, shoulders, wrists, and hips, while both the knees and elbows are ball jointed, which is typical for a protocol droid like this. While TC-14 may seem less than capable, the droid is able to defend itself if needed. Despite the dreaded swivel hips, this protocol droid can lay down some serious blaster shots. Sadly, TC-14 seems to be the only figure from the Phantom Menace that 375 fans are going to see for the 25th anniversary, and it's an absolute shame that we have to rely on Disney Parks to offer us anything. Hasbro really needs to step their game up with updating main characters from the prequel trilogy, in my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at the latest addition to the Droid Factory lineup, TC-14 from The Phantom Menace. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.